Strange World. Now,
yeah, Disney's Strange World. So it's hard when this first came out. I didn't even twig this as like a Disney movie.
I thought this was a space Swiss Family Robinson thing from the trailer, which I didn't get. What was the last couple of Disney movies out? We had Raya and the Last Dragon, which I didn't really like. What about Pixar? Picked up the Pixar one was the Panda, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. What's the thing with the Disney movies? It's like, Big Hero 6. That's probably ages ago. I don't know. A long
time ago, yeah.
But they don't feel like this essential thing anymore. I mean, this looks like more like the Big Hero 6 thing, where a lot of the Disney movies you associate with being princesses, and they're often sort of like
fairy tale thing, aren't they?
Old fables and Grimm's fairy tales and things like that. Encanto, that was fairly recentish, wasn't it? That was quite a big hit.
That was okay. I need to watch that again. Yeah, that was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So Strange Worlds obviously chose not to follow that formula of having songs and female main characters. Instead, the legendary Clades are a family of explorers whose differences threaten to topple their latest and most crucial mission. So it's just a mismatched family. Well, the son and the father obviously have got issues and they're arguing and things like that. They've got it's not set on Earth, is it? It's like
it's this
Earth-like
unknown.
planet somewhere.
Yeah.
And they've got these things that look like magic sprouts which power the world, but when they start fritzing and not working properly, they have to go deep underground to try and solve the problem.
And the dad is an explorer, and he's always banging on about going out beyond the cliffs. So all of this little town or village that they live in, is surrounded by massive cliffs, aren't they? Like the Andes or something.
This big mountain range.
Impassable. And their dad goes missing, and it's like 25 years later, and the kid has grown up with his own family. He's got his wife, he's got his son. Like you say, yeah, and these magic sprouts go on the fritz. It's kind of got that, not quite steampunky, but it's got like floating vehicles. It's this stuff is like this magic do all everything. It's like this weird plant that does everything, isn't it? So
they have some. I see what you mean with the steampunk thing. Yeah, there's some bits that look very like basic, but there's other things that have got like cars and that can sort of hover and stuff, can't they? Because they've obviously got this.
Yeah, he's got like a bike, hasn't he, or something that we look. And there's like a spaceship.
I mean,
which is kind of part.
What it's like, it is like something like maybe like Inner Space or Journey to the Center of the Earth. Those kind of movies. So it's just people being in a pod going up to some fantastical land, and it's very, very colourful and everything. All the living creatures and things that they encounter on the way. They're all none of them are real creatures.
So they journey to the centre of the earth almost, don't they? And they come through. In some of these, I'm trying to think of an example now, but a bit like in Jurassic Park, they go through a waterfall. It happened in Shang-Chi, didn't it? They go through a waterfall or something, and you come out and it's like, it's a magical land, and all these animals are like made of gloop and jelly, and there's
it's really bright. Everything's really pink.
No, I really like the look of that. I thought the design was just fabulous.
Yeah, the floor sort of bounces when they land on it, and then you've got these
shoals of weird flying fish.
Moving like fish, but they're flying to the sky, aren't they? They make a big deal of those people running across, and there's like sort of jellyfish and gloopy, blobby sort of things. So, in terms of like its style and its design, you think, that's all very nice. I think the problem with a little bit with is the story and how much you tend to care about any of the characters in it. That's the problem, really, for me.
Yeah. It almost had... sorry for some spoilers, but basically they end up catching up with the dad, and the dad is your typical, I don't know, what would you call him? Almost like a Victorian explorer. Everything's about chopping things down and burning things up out the way. And then the dad is what you would class of, I don't know, maybe our age, middle age, kind of different to his dad, so like a new age dad. And then of course his son is like is a millennial, even too old for that. He's like 15 or something, so 16, so he's quite a young man with even his own idea. So we've got kids, so we know what it's like to have the younger generation. So they kind of play on this riff, don't they, of the three generations. And the main guy's got an axe to grind with his dad because he feels like his dad left behind, and his dad's like super macho, and the main guy's a farmer, and the son is kind of finding his way, isn't he? So He doesn't.
Yeah,
want
I mean, the idea is that the dad's all about personal success and going, I'm going to go explore out there and see what wonders there are out
isn't
there.
he? Yeah.
And the other guy's like, well, I'm going to be a farmer and I'm going to do things that benefit everybody. So obviously they've got that little bit of a clash, like, arguing with your dad about what your dad should want you to be. And you feel like, you've seen that before, so that's all fairly generic. I think the character design, they just look like any old Pixar-y, cartoony characters, like, bubbly noses and bubbly fingers and stuff.
Big noses and big bodies and little legs, yeah,
there's nothing that interesting there, really. I think it's interesting from a point of view where it has, I think it's the first really noticeable time, anyway, where they've had a gay character in a Disney film, certainly in the Disney animated film. I mean, when I've talked in the past about Disney owned Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, but the actual Disney animated film where the character is clearly gay, you think, well, that's quite groundbreaking. That's good that they're just doing that.
And it's
not a big deal. It's not questioned or anything.
Yeah, it wasn't even a you can cut this out if you don't like it. It was.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure about that so much though. I think you could probably cut out the storyline about him fancying one of his school friends.
And maybe
because I think it felt like they've just put that in there, just go, look, we're being a bit progressive here, but it can be easily snipped out for the Eastern audiences, which have a problem with it, I suppose. So that seemed a little bit.
So I would say they get sort of 3/4 way through it, and then they sort of find the problem that's going on with this, and it's it's an all interconnected tree of life, isn't it, with all these things. And then, did you feel, Rob, like it then got the preachy message really hard, and it was like, let's ramp the metaphor, let's turn the metaphors down, and we're going to hit you on the head with this really hard. And it's like, fossil fuel's bad, you're killing the world, let's get on with that, because it really does hit the message, but it's like super hard. Now, I don't know if that's just because it's aimed at the next generation. Maybe there are 5-10-year-old kids watching this who are going to grow up to be the next Elon Musk, and they'll remember this and they'll be like, these images have been implanted into my mind better than any kind of like party political broadcaster doing. And maybe it will imprint them, and in 20 years' time we're going to see some better progressive eco.
I wouldn't oversell this one film too much.
No,
but I from a point of view of who's this aimed at, I saw this with a bunch of 8, 9, 10-year-olds as a school trip to the cinema.
Okay, yeah.
There was no big fidgeting, wandering around. Can I get this? Can I go and get to the toilet? Can I go to the toilet? Can I have another drink? So, you got a couple of hundred kids there that sat quietly, and my class, to be honest, apart from 1 or 2 quick toilet visits. I think that's a good sign of a film where the kids aren't just fidgeting and wanting excuses to go to the toilet every 5 minutes. They just sat there watching and they kind of enjoyed it. There was, there wasn't any big laughs or anything either, but yeah, they were absorbed by it anyway, and it held their attention. So, for as a kid's point of view, from it does its job fine. For me, I found it. We've talked about T-test in the past and then phone test and stuff like that. It got to that point with me where it wasn't really holding my interest. So when a child said, "Can I just go to the toilet? Can you take me to the toilet?" That I actually felt like, yeah, okay. I didn't think, it's so frustrating. This looks like a good bit or anything like that. I felt like I didn't really care that the fact I'd nip out for a couple of minutes.
Would you say it for me? It had the so I actually really enjoyed it. Overall, I thought the messaging was very, very heavily laid on, like really laid on. Would you say it was kind of, when Pixar did Cars and then they did the other films called Planes, which, gotta be honest, I've watched half watching it.
Yeah.
Would you say it was
like
it was that kind of level where it's not a top tier, it's not a Frozen, is it? But it's not a Wall-E. Well, actually, that's Pixar, though, isn't it? But it was kind of like a little bit forgettable, and it was kind of fine, and it was just okay.
Because it's a Disney release, I was expecting a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a big deal. I don't feel like it's been particularly promoted well. Then it came onto Disney Plus fairly quick. Well, but judging it on UK screenings, I mean, you got a theatrical release, and I think it'd been out a few days before we went to see it, but none of the kids are like, wow, yeah, brilliant, we see Strange World. They're like, they didn't really know what it was. I think if you've got a bunch of 8, 9-year-olds that don't really know what this new film is, you think your marketing has kind of failed
Is
quite
it because
badly
it's
there.
not tied? It's not tied in with any action figures. I mean, can you see anyone going out buying Strange World pajamas for the kids?
The worrying thing is here, though, is this I think has performed fairly poorly. The Buzz Lightyear movie performed quite poorly, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like that, the Disney animation side of things are sort of struggling a bit here. It's like they're trying to go for something a bit more sci-fi adventure, thinking, oh, that's what kids want nowadays, sci-fi action adventure. But they're kind of failing, really.
I think
better go back to doing some princess stuff.
I think I enjoyed Buzz Lightyear more than this. I think it was a bit... I don't know. I'm probably razzing on this a bit hard. I enjoyed it for what it was. My son's too old. Yeah.
So how many magical, powerful sprouts out of 10 would you give it?
6, 7.
Oh, you turned into a snake then for a second.
It was fine.
5.
Yeah.
5, just right down the middle for me.
Yeah, I mean, if I had younger kids and they said, "Oh, Dad, let's watch that again," yeah, I'd watch it again. I wouldn't sort of like,
Yeah, from that point of view, it's not offensive to you as an adult to have to watch it, but it's nothing great.
Thanks for watching. Please give us a like and subscribe to see more of our content.